With Barack Obama in the White House, it's never been more important that gun owners know exactly where every candidate for president stands on the Second Amendment. I'm Dudley Brown, Executive Director of the National Association for Gun Rights, and I need your help in finding out where the Republican candidates for president stand on the Second Amendment. With your Second Amendment rights on the line, it's just too important to sit this one out. And frankly, after looking at the records of some of the leading Republican candidates on gun rights, I am very concerned. That's why I'm calling as many gun rights activists as I know, including you, asking you, no, urging you to get involved. It's absolutely vital that you return your signed gun rights charge to the presidential candidates right away. Just as soon as you sign your gun rights charge, I will make sure that every presidential candidate who has not returned their gun rights survey gets a copy of your charge. Now, as I told you, these are dangerous days for our Second Amendment freedoms. NAGR has mailed every candidate for president a gun rights candidate survey, asking each candidate to return the survey 100% in favor of the Second Amendment. Now, unfortunately, a number of candidates on the Republican side have stonewalled gun owners on their Second Amendment stance. This is unacceptable. For example, so far, Mitt Romney has refused to respond to the gun rights survey, perhaps because when Mitt Romney was governor of ultra-liberal Massachusetts, he signed a bill to ban an entire class of firearms. Now, would he do the same thing, or even worse, as President of the United States? I don't know, but you and I sure need to find out before it's too late. And it might surprise you to note that Newt Gingrich has a long history of supporting gun control. In fact, Gingrich openly championed the Lautenberg gun ban when it first passed, shocking even the left-wing media in his own home state to write the headline, quotes, "Gingrich supports gun ban." Given Newt's voting record, it shouldn't surprise anyone that he won't sign our gun rights candidate survey. He'd either have to lie or admit the truth about his abysmal anti-gun record. We also know, of course, that Barack Obama is as anti-gun as they come. Now let me take a second to remind you of the detrimental consequences to our Second Amendment rights should Barack Obama win the presidency again in 2012. President Obama and his anti-gun allies have their sights set on banning the private sale of all firearms between American citizens, banning certain types of hunting and self-defense ammunition that meet arbitrary conditions, banning standard magazines that hold more than 10 rounds, and when Barack Obama and his left-wing cohorts might even shoot for one of the biggest goals, to ban semi-automatic rifles and all handguns. Now, I didn't even mention the UN Small Arms Treaty yet. As you know, Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama have made it a priority to implement the UN Small Arms Treaty right here on our soil. What that means is the UN would be given the power to gut our Second Amendment rights. It's just a well-known fact. Barack Obama is anti-gun. We know that. Gun owners know that. But where do the Republican candidates for president stand on your Second Amendment rights? I bet you would like to find out, so would I. As I speak to you right now, only 2 candidates for president have returned their gun rights survey 100% in favor of the Second Amendment. Ron Paul, Michele Bachmann, but that's it. So far, Newt, Rick Perry, Mitt Romney, the rest of the bunch, they won't answer. I have heard nothing but silence from the rest of the field. You and I must know before campaign season really kicks into full gear, and it's right there, right now. However, I won't be able to alert and mobilize gun owners without your help. NAGR needs your help to hold these candidates accountable. Will you help NAGR crank up the pressure on these candidates for president? Because such a massive effort won't be easy or cheap. I hope you'll agree to make a generous contribution of $50 or $100 and return your signed gun rights charge to the presidential candidates to help expose the Second Amendment records of all the presidential candidates. That's why your contribution of $50 or $100 or whatever you can afford to the National Association for Gun Rights and your gun rights charge to the presidential candidates is so vital. In fact, this is so critical. If you can afford more, I hope you will give. But whether you can afford $25 or $2,000, Honestly, I just ask you contribute as much as you can today. You know how hard it is to cut through all the campaign rhetoric and get down to the truth as these campaigns gain steam. After all, it really can be difficult to tell the difference between a wolf and a sheep when they're both dressed the same. That's where you and I come in. I have sent an official NAGR Presidential Gun Rights Survey to every announced candidate for president, urging them to pledge 100% support for our Second Amendment rights. If the candidates answer their National Association for Gun Rights survey, folks will know about it. And if they refuse, folks will know about that too. And if they've made anti-gun public statements in the past, they voted wrong, or even vetoed pro-gun bills, we'll make sure every one of our members are armed with the facts. Then as the race goes on, we'll dramatically expand this effort, ensuring every gun owner knows exactly where each candidate stands. But if we're going to succeed, I'm going to need your immediate support for this absolutely critical program. So won't you help NAGR pressure the candidates to return their gun rights survey 100% in favor of our Second Amendment rights by returning your gun rights charge to the presidential candidates? Your help is critical. And that's why your contribution of $100 or $200, whatever you can afford, to the National Association for Gun Rights, and by signing our gun rights charge to presidential candidates is so vital. In fact, this is so critical. If you can afford more, I hope you will give today. But whether you can afford $50 or $500, I just ask you to contribute as much as you can today. See, if you and I can flood the candidates' campaign offices with calls and emails demanding they answer their National Association for Gun Rights presidential survey, they'll figure out in a hurry. There's no ducking this one. As the race intensifies, if we can raise all the funds necessary to do so, we'll turn up the heat even more, using mail, email, phone calls, hard-hitting newspaper ads, radio ads, sending a strong message from the members and supporters of the National Association for Gun Rights. Every candidate will be held accountable for their records. I don't know about you, but I'm determined to turn this country around. But a massive effort like this won't be easy, and it won't be cheap. I hope you'll agree to make a generous contribution of $100 or $50 to help expose the Second Amendment records of the presidential candidates.